Hello Flosstube friends, this is Kate from Kate's Crafting Corner, and it has been a hot minute. I think over 2 months since I've last updated. And we've just had a lot going on. I should have watched my last episode to remember what I talked about last, but that was an hour and a half, and if I watched that, I'm just not sure I would have even had time to do this now. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to start with sharing some of the life updates and where and why I've been. So you might be able to tell that I have done some rearranging, although it's been so long that maybe you can't tell, which is also fine. But I used to have a collection of teddy bears up there, but they have since been moved so that I could utilize this storage space a bit better. Over here I used to have the bead storage boxes that I kept a skein of each DMC color in. I moved that over, let me just turn you guys to over there where I actually did a lot of rearranging. So I used to have some magazines on one of those shelves, and I used to have project bags on there, and then down there I had my sewing machine and a bunch of sewing stuff. And these I'm trying to figure out well, anyways, those cubes were in my closet, and I moved the magazines to the retreat, which freed up a row. And so then I decided to bring out my scrap bins. Those are my quilting scrap bins for the scrap fabrics, and put them there so they're more easily accessible and I utilize them better. So because of that, I moved my sewing machine into one of the shelves in the closet and moved those there. And then I realized I could easily fit the bead cubes, all 9 of them, onto that top shelf there. And so that's what I did. I just had like a couple photo album boxes before, and so I moved those to up there now. And I think you can see if I go up, there's the stuffed animals, so they're still there. They're still in the room. But anyway, so down there you can see the cross-stitch bags just moved down one. I got a few more of the photo storage boxes that I store projects in. Those are they're empty right now, but I will be putting things in there. I moved my mini cubes that I keep knitting notions to over there. And then the part that you can't see actually is that I did a lot of adjusting is actually in the closet. I can now access things because I'd basically just used the ground as a dumping space, and so now it's sorted and organized. And I spent like a 12-hour day just moving stuff around and doing a bunch of stuff like that. But so I'm pretty happy with the new setup. Oh, and my Himalayan, that's a wax melter right there, right behind my dot, the A word, the ALEXA word. And then behind the Himalayan salt wax melter thing, I have a diffuser. So yeah, and so because I moved the DMC boxes, these boxes right here, I was able to use 2 of them one of them is still empty. 2 of them I have a few things in, but I know what I'm going to put in that big one, but I'm going to show you guys first, so that's why it's empty. But anyways, yeah, I'm pretty happy with how things are at the moment. I have maximized just about as much space as I can. I have one kind of blank wall that if necessary, I can try to figure out how I can utilize that. Maybe get my TV mounted, which I told my husband I wanted actually to begin with, but and then be able to put one more storage unit right where it's at. But I am at near max capacity in here, so anyways, so that's what I spent one day doing. And I'll share a couple other things before I forget, and then I'll talk about the dogs and various other things that have been going on, health and a trip and stuff. So look at this mug that my husband got me from Hobby Lobby. I love it so much. And in it, I have a new favorite tea that I thought I would share. And that is from Bigelow Blackberry Citrus. I'd never seen this, and it has zinc. And I'd never seen this tea before, and I saw it one day at the grocery store, and you guys know I'm like a teaaholic. And so I got it to try, and this is my second box of it. And I am obsessed. This is actually my second cup today of the tea. So if you see it and you're wondering, I would highly recommend just giving it a try. So some life and dog updates. I do know the last time I filmed that Gracie was pregnant, so she hadn't yet had puppies. She had the puppies. They are now 7 weeks old. Which is how I know it's been over 2 months since I filmed. We did, again, unfortunately lose one of the puppies. We had to, the first 3 came easily, no problems. And I probably jinxed it by being like, this is going to be our easiest delivery yet. And unfortunately, then she was in labor for hours, and we called our vet, and they were like, you need to contact the emergency vet because they couldn't do surgery at that stage in the day. And so we called the emergency vet, and they were like, well, if she's still in active labor in a couple of hours, and call us again, and then we'll have you bring her in. And so she was still in active labor, and so we rushed her to the emergency vet, and they took her in, but they didn't see her for about another hour or so. Anyway, she was in active labor for about 7 hours, and we knew there was 5. We knew there was 5 puppies, and she'd given birth to 3. And it turns out that puppy number 4 was too large to pass through her tubes, and an emergency C-section was going to cost $6,000. And we were trying to figure out like what to do, because it was late in the day. We couldn't move money around in accounts, like the banks were closed already, and we were really scared we were going to lose Miss Grace. And if you're new to my channel, Gracie was my 2-month wedding anniversary present from my husband. I stopped getting monthly presents after that, but she was my 2-month wedding anniversary present. And she's just my sweet little girl. I love her so much. And we were so scared we were going to lose her. And so we were trying to figure out what to do, because they wouldn't perform the C-section until you had paid up front, and we didn't have that in our primary bank account. Anyways, I mean, $6,000 to $7,000 is a lot of money. Anyways, while we were still trying to figure it out, they called us and they said that the puppy had died anyway in the tubes, that he wasn't alive anymore. And so they were able to remove it. And so she didn't have to have the C-section. It still costs like $1,000, but the good news is puppy number 5, which I had basically written off as we were gonna lose both of those. Actually, he survived and he's doing fantastic. So we have 4 puppies. We're not keeping them. We've already found their forever homes, and starting next weekend, they'll start leaving for their forever homes. So this litter was, of the surviving ones, was 3 boys and 1 girl. They all have the darker tan coloring of Georgie. They're so cute. And I will put in some pictures here, but at the end I'll include some videos. And I named them this time after Boy Meets World. So the first little boy, Eric, and then the next one was Topanga, and then we had Corey, and the little fighter is Sean. And this litter is so funny. They're so different from our last 2 litters. They have 0 interest in the stairs. They are perfectly content to just stay in the upstairs hallway. Like, because I don't always like to leave the bedroom door open because they just wander, and they're into chewing cords these days and stuff like that. And so I'll like close that, and I'll close the craft room. Most of the time I'll close the craft room door. Sometimes I don't, and they wander in here too. But yeah, we'll go down, we'll try to bribe them with some treats or stuff like that, and they're just content to stay at the top of the stairs. They don't cry for us. They don't attempt to come down at their own. The other ones, by like 5 weeks, I couldn't get them to stay upstairs. They were going down and everything. So I don't know. They're very funny. But so they're doing great. They are all healthy. I have them scheduled for their first set of shots in a week, and then the first one will go that following Saturday, Eric. And then Topanga will be going June 4th to a family in Nevada. They're friends with the friend group that has 3 of the puppies from the last litter. So they've got 4 of our puppies in this friend group up there in Nevada. And then the final 2 are actually going to the same person. She was a work colleague of mine when I lived in Fresno, and she contacted me on the day they were born about Corey. And then a week or 2 ago, she said she wanted 2 of them. So we still had, no, she wanted Sean. She started wanting Sean, and then I was like, well, we still have Corey, so she's gonna have both Corey and Sean, and she's gonna get them at the end of June. So we have them for another month and a half, which I'm really excited about because they're at a super cute stage, and I just love having puppies around. But yeah, so that's the puppy update. For a bit of a life update, last month my husband's nephew was getting married in Oregon, and the puppies were still only 5 weeks old, and I didn't trust leaving them with a sitter or rover or someone like that. And so we rented an RV and drove all the way to Portland and had it for a week and had all 10 dogs in the RV. It was chaos, but it was also good. I really enjoyed it. And so I'll put some pictures of that because it's just kind of funny. But they were such troopers. So there was that. And a few weeks before that, I'd done something to aggravate my back. I think that it's still messed up from, we were rear-ended last summer, and I think it's still kind of messed up from that, but it got re-aggravated really bad, and it got to the point where I couldn't do anything without pain. And unfortunately, I was taking so much Advil for so long that I had developed an ulcer, stomach ulcer. So then I was dealing with that. And I'm also in a seasonal migraine stage. This happens every spring and fall for me. It usually has to do with the temperature. Right now we are having about 30 to 40 degree swings from the coldest point at night to the hottest part of the day. And instead of just gradually changing the weather, it's drastically changing. And that affects like my sinuses, which is, my migraines are based in my sinuses. And so like today is 54 degrees. In 3 days, it's supposed to be in the 90s. So it's such drastic change with no like gradual getting there, and my head just cannot take it. So I've had a migraine for over a week now. It never really goes away, but I can mitigate it a bit. But because I had then developed the ulcer, I had to be careful about how much medication I was taking. So one thing that really helps me is I take Sudafed, head congestion and pain, and this really helps me be able to manage my migraines. So I'm hoping this migraine phase will leave soon. But anyways, that was 20 minutes of rambling about life and 0 about cross stitch. So I'll have timestamps down below so you can skip the life updates if you're not interested. At the end of this video, I'm going to, before I put life update video, I mean like pictures and stuff like that, so you can see the cuteness of the puppies. I will be briefly talking about Advents. I was asked to make a video about Advents, so I'll try to do that this week, if not next week. And I will talk a little bit about some of my thoughts on Advent for this year, like what I'm going to do in terms of Advents. And then the video I'll post will be kind of like searching. I want to be able to film my screen and like my computer screen and kind of go through searching for Advents and what's available and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about doing. Of course, this is subject to change as I am not the most tech savvy person. So we will see how I can make it work. But so that's just what's going to be upcoming. So without further ado, this is going to have everything, this video, because I cannot film a lot of videos. It's just with the puppies, and they take a lot of time right now. They are very playful. And with my migraines and my back pains and all the pains, this has to be a one and done with very minimal amount of editing. In part because I cannot be bothered to look back 3 months ago to find the start pictures to show a comparison. So I'm just going to be showing you projects and stuff like that. Okay, so I have a finish for a cross stitch, and this is my May cottage. Is done. I don't know, maybe I showed you guys this already, maybe not, I don't know. I had a pile and I brought the pile over here. So, really happy with that. I think that puts me officially halfway through with finishing the series. I have all the others started, so one of my new starts is, this is a map of Hogwarts. I don't think that you can get this design any longer as it is a Russian design. I got it pre-Ukraine invasion, so there is that. I have some of the first colors I'm working with on my little floss cards or my floss drops. And here's my very meager start. I wanted to do more, but I just got distracted with other things. So, my friend Wendy was working on this, and she always starts at the other corner. So I start here, she starts here, and she started to do some of these, and it looks way better than the mock-up. It looks really nice, so I will be excited to work on this some more when I get the chance. I haven't worked on it probably in like 2 months. I don't know. Perhaps I showed you this already and I haven't worked on it since then. I don't know. Okay, then got Evening in the Shire. And this is a mock-up. This is a Ukrainian designer. So this is still can be found on Etsy. So I will try to remember to link the pattern down below. And I'm very nearly done with all of the cross stitch, and then it's just a mountain of back stitch. But here is what I have done on this project. So this is a project where the back stitch really makes the design. And this is a mystery count fabric. I have no clue what this count is. I thought it was a 28 count, but I'm thinking 32, maybe even smaller. All I know is it will fit the design, so I'm not going to be bothered to count or measure. And this is another one I haven't worked on in a little while. Oh my gosh, Sam is right now laying in a bed with one of the babies and he's just licking it all over. It's so cute. In here we've got another map of Middle Earth. This one is not a full coverage one. So it's all the brown is what is stitched and it's all one color. And I actually am really, really loving this. So here's my progress. And I do really love this project. So sorry, I have to put it away as I go or there's just going to be too much. Okay, so I'll show you this project in just a second. But first I want to show you this bag. Isn't it so pretty? It's Anne of Green Gables. This is the background. This is from So Sweet Sherry, maybe? Is there a tag or a label? I don't think so. Okay, so one month I forgot to renew one of my yarn subscriptions, and it was the Pride and Prejudice yarn, and actually I haven't gotten that subscription since then. I'm kind of feeling a little overwhelmed with my yarns, so I've only been getting, I haven't been getting most of my clubs. Even though I have a mountain of yarn here to show you, it is like 3 months worth of yarn, so so I decided, I really loved this fabric line. I'd seen it before, but I didn't get it because I didn't really know what to make with it. So when I saw this, I really wanted it. And so I decided that since I didn't buy that monthly yarn, this was roughly the same price. Especially because that club ships from Canada, so I got this instead, and I just love it so much. It's so beautiful. I have several other of her bags in my wish list, but yeah. And then, oh, on the inside, there's this fabric that's got like some of the text of the book. It's so perfect. Anyway, so for my friend Moray's birthday, I let her pick a new start that I would do. And so she wanted me to start Kingdom of Books. I am doing this on 28 count even weave instead of the Ada that comes with the kit. And I don't have a ton of a start, but this is what I have. I think I was working on this while Gracie was in labor, because I would just sit with her. Yeah. So I haven't actually worked on it since the puppies were born. Okay, next I did a very, very tiny bit on Christmas by the Letter. This is what it will look like in the end. So I'm not sure if I had finished this letter last time I showed you, but I started some of the first R in Mary. So I only have one more cross stitch to share with you guys. And this one actually has a ton of progress because I've basically been working monogamously on this for like 3 weeks. And that is Afternoon in London. So when I had started it, I had done these clouds and a top little bit of red over here of the bus. This is where I'm at now. I've done over 3,000 stitches and I am very near the end. So, and I still don't actually have the desire to put it down. I was working on it just before starting to film this. I'm just really enjoying this one, and I want to get the others in the series. They have Afternoon in New York, Afternoon in Paris, and Afternoon in Rome. So, oops, I just dropped the magnet. I gotta get it because I don't want one of the dogs to take it. Okay, there we go. But yeah, so there's a good chance I will continue to work on this until it's all the way done. So if you're wondering, I am working on this building right here. I don't know if that's supposed to be Buckingham Palace. I'm not positive. I know this is number 12 Downing Street, Big Ben. You've got the soldiers, telephone booth, the bus. So I don't know if that's Buckingham Palace. I think it is, but I'm not 100%. So I'm working on this. The gate, the montage here, the two soldiers, and the phone box is what I have left. My guess is 1,500 stitches. Somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500 would be my guess. So that's my cross stitch update. And the only real plans I have is just basically for cross stitch is basically to just keep on working on that until either I can't stand it anymore or I finish it. And I'm really hoping to finish it. I'd really also like to finish my Mill Hill Gloria. That's a present for my parents, and I'm just at the beading stage. So I just have to do the beads, and then I'm cut it out, and then I'm done. But I just hate doing the beading. I always worry about ripping the paper. So, yeah. So my plan kind of is after I finish this, I want to work on that one for like 30 minutes a day until I get it done. So anyways, yeah. Moving on to, well, I guess I'll show you quilting before I move on to. So I started a quilt for my husband's youngest granddaughter's. I didn't finish it for her birthday because I decided to start it like the Monday before her Saturday birthday party. If I had had the backing fabric, I would have finished it. But I didn't have the backing fabric, and so I wasn't able to finish it. But I was seriously like marathon sewing this thing, and now of course I've kind of lost my wind. So it's gonna turn into a Christmas present instead. But so this is the basic block that I was making. So the whole quilt is made up of these blocks. It's called Summer in the Park from Missouri Star Quilt Company. And the fabric I used is Ahoy Mateys from Ahoy Mermaids from Riley Blake. And she just turned 8, so I thought that was really a nice one for a little girl. I think I've got a picture of it laying on my kitchen floor. I have it here. And so I'll hold it up, back up and hold it up for you, but I clearly cannot get the whole thing in frame. So I still need to do the sandwich and the quilting, but like I said, I've kind of lost my steam. So here it is. So it's I think like a twin size blanket. And I really do love it. And I hope she does too. But yeah, I can't believe I did as much as I did in, I guess, 3 days. And then I ended up just getting some more of this pink fabric for the backing. So just a plain pink back. But yeah, and her brother's birthday party is this Saturday. I have the fabric, but I haven't picked a pattern. And so that's part of also why I'm like, just gonna do it for Christmas. Because they also have another older sister I need to do a quilt for then. But she's a teenager and it's kind of hard to like know what a teenager would like. Anyways, okay. So the other thing that I was planning with this is using this extra block that I have and making a pillow to just have a matching pillow. So that is my other plan. I already have the pillow form, so I just need to make it. I think I'm going to do an envelope one so that they can throw it in the wash or change the pillow case as suits them. So that is my sewing. I don't have it here. At one of the activities with the young women in my church that we do, we learned how to make scrunchies, and so they're having a girls camp and they need to like provide things for the camp store or something like that. So I bought a bunch of elastic and I'm gonna make some scrunchies and just give them to the girls. So I need to work on that. That's just something that I'll do like chain do, you know, like a assembly line. So just make a bunch of the tubes, then sit there, do a bunch of the elastic, just kind of like that. So I think I have enough elastic for, well, I cut out for 50. And then when I was doing my reorganization, I found 2 more bundles of elastic that haven't even been cut. So I have plenty, and so I want to spend about 30 minutes a day going through my scrap fabrics and working on cutting them out and putting them in my bins so that I can finally get the scrap fabrics organized like I want. And yeah, so that is that. Now I can move on to also, sorry, one more thing. My sister Alex is moving back to America, and I have a quilt started for her that is her like graduation present. So I need to work on that and finish that. So I do actually have quite a bit of quilting that needs to get done. I think I need to do about 5 quilts this year, which, considering I haven't done any quilts in a number of years, need to really get going on that. But anyways, okay, so let's move on to crochet and knitting. Hang on. Okay, there we go. So I have a knitting finish, and that is the honey cowl. And I made this with the Gilmore Girls Club from Fangirl Fibers. Rory Goes to Chilton, maybe? Anyways, so I did adapt the pattern a little bit as it gave 2 sizes, and instead what I did was I took a mount in the middle and cast on that many. So I blocked it. And this is what it looks like on. And I actually think it falls to a nice length for my preferences. So one thing I'm considering doing is for Christmas presents for the other adults and the young women's, making each of them one of these cows. It was so easy, pretty quick, and I've been getting the DK weight skeins with that club, so that would be a good use for them. And then I would have some Christmas presents checked off. So that's what I'm thinking. I do really like this one. So I don't know if this one will be one of the gifts. We'll see. And I haven't started the next one because I wanted to show you guys before, yeah, I don't know why. my brain's just not super on board with life right now. It's just all like helter-skelter. I have a couple of dishcloths. This one, I really like how the colors look on this one. It's so fun. And then this was a stripy skein. Is it this one? Yeah, it's called Lavender Meadow from Peaches and Cream Stripey. And I wasn't sure how I would like it, but I love how they turned out. So here's the first one. I think that's so pretty. And the second. So those are the couple of dishcloths that I did. I have my mom's Afghan, and I did quite a, I think from like over here, so several rows. And I am almost done with the part of the pattern that I am on, which is my goal for that square on my whip go board. So that is my mom's Sophie's Universe. I picked the colors because my mom loves Delft. If you've watched this channel, I've mentioned this many times, and this just kind of reminds me of Delft China stuff. So, no, hang on. Okay. I finally worked on this shawl I started quite a while ago that I've been kind of concerned about one of the colors, so I put it aside, but I finally was like, I just need to work on it some more. So I finished the first part. This is the Stillness shawl from, I believe, Helen Stewart. So I was working on this stripy section, so I finished the stripes. And I did the first 2 rows of this is going to be a lace section. And that section is in this color that's down here. So, yep, I like it. This is a cowl I started 1.5 years ago, and I'm hoping to finish it in the next day or 2 because I need to, one, I need the needles for another project that is time sensitive, and so yeah, I need that, and then I need to get this blocked. But anyway, so this is the Christmas Tide cowl. It is 12, no, it's actually 10 colors. It's 2 gradient sets, and so you start with the darkest on one and then go up to the lightest, and the other one you start with the lightest and go to the darkest. So I started with the darkest blue, and I'm headed towards, well, now it's turned into a kind of a more purpley color. And then I started with the lightest pink, and so it's been working darker, and the final color for that is this beautiful color. Will be right here. So I have 10 more rows of this color, and then I'm done. And look at that beautiful pattern. And then it's a final ribbing pattern that's at the top with that other one, and then I will be done. So unfortunately, this current pattern I'm on is kind of intensive and demanding, so it's taken me longer than I would have liked. I think the last time I showed it to you guys, I was over here. So that's where my stitch marker is. So let's just look at the different patterns on it. This is Christmastide cowl from Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears. And I'm so happy with this. I a little bit wish that I had instead broken it up into, I actually had, these are 2 6-color sets, and I kind of wish I'd broken this up into 2 6-parts, like 2 different cowls with 6 parts each. You could have done the same ribbing as both of the parts, the top and the bottom. And the reason is I just think that this is going to be a little bit warm and a little bit too big around my neck, because we don't get that cold of weather where I live. But I still really love it, and so I am happy with it. And each of them is supposed to represent different Christmas stories. I don't have them all memorized at the moment, but like this is supposed to be the invisibility cloak from Harry Potter, from that Christmas he stayed at Hogwarts. And he used the invisibility cloak to see his mom. These are Christmas trees. I don't know if they're the Christmas trees from Little House in the Big Woods, but they're supposed to be Christmas trees. I forget what all the others are supposed to be. Like I said, I started this a year and a half ago. But I really love it, and I'm also excited to finish it. And I need to figure out how to block it properly so that it doesn't end up like, you can see in my cowl, where did it go? The other cowl, that when I blocked it, because this is actually the edge where I blocked it. It's not where the yarns were joined. It's because I laid it like this and dried it, and it had pins in it. And so, like, I think, I don't know. And so you've got that. So I don't want that on my nice fancy one. So I need to figure out how to properly block a cowl. I'm sure there's like a YouTube tutorial or something. But anyways, so yeah, I'm really hoping to finish this tonight or tomorrow, because I need these needles for one of my Harry Potter knitting and crochet things. And I need to knit the swatch for that and get it blocked and submitted in like just the next couple of days. So I really need to get a move on with that. And I'll talk about that in a minute in my planning section. But yeah, I really love it. Unfortunately, I dropped my nice yarn bowl that my husband got for me, and it cracked a little bit, and we just haven't gotten a new one. So I'm using this, but the reason that's mainly unfortunate, because this was a gift from one of my sisters, is that I can't fit balls bigger than like 20 to 50 grams in here. So 100 gram balls that I was using, I can't use that with this. So that is unfortunate. Oh, the two, I've been keeping all my the scraps in here from that project. The 2 colors that from each gradient, there's a color from each gradient that didn't get used, are these. So they're very pretty colors. I don't know what I'll use them for. These are the scraps I have at the moment, so oops. A substantial amount. I don't know if maybe I could make socks with them and use like heels and toes and then cuffs with this or something like, or heels with one and the cuffs, and I don't know. I need to think about it. I want to do something. Or maybe I'll just put them in my scrap blanket. And I got this yarn from this shop called Happy Turtle Yarn on Etsy. And so I went to go see if they had anything I wanted. Because I was looking for something more like tonal like these are. And unfortunately there was nothing listed in their shop when I went to look. So I was really kind of sad about that. Because this is really nice quality yarn. It is so soft and so nice. It is 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. So very, very nice. So I'm hoping it's just a temporary break, but we'll see. And the final thing to show you is I started the swatches for the cardigan I want to make for myself. I'm planning on making a cardigan for my husband and I, same color but different patterns. And so this is the one I chose for myself, the Botanist. And there you need like 6 swatches. And I've done 3 so far. I was going to try to do it for the 3-month-long challenge for the knitting and crochet thing, but I've just never made a cardigan before, so I didn't want to like put that kind of pressure on myself yet. Plus summer's so hot to knit a sweater. But okay, so this is one swatch. Isn't that a beautiful color? This is the seed swatch, the seed stitch swatch. And that was really fun to knit. And then here is one of the cable patterns. The sleeve cable. So that would be running down my arm like that. So I need to finish the other 3 and they're cable patterns, so, and they're more stitches, so it's going to be a bit more longer. I think all the swatches is going to take a full ball of yarn to do them all, but yeah. So these are temporarily on hold, but that's what I'm going to put in the big basket, or the big bucket, is this, and then also my husband's sweater and the yarn. I've got 50 skeins of this yarn. I wanted to make sure I had enough, and it was on a good sale, so when I bought it. So those are my projects. I wanted to share some plans. Yeah, my plans for coming up in terms of knitting and crochet. So May started again the next term for the Harry Potter knitting and crochet. It runs for 3 months. So each month there are 8 classes, and you can get points for 6, but I usually try to do all 8. And then there's also Quidditch matches that you have to do projects for, headmistress challenges that you have to do stuff for, and then this thing called an owl, like your OWLs. And that's a project that needs to take the full 3 months. And then there's also a mission, like the Order of the Phoenix kind of missions, and that's a project that should take about 6 months. I mean 6 weeks. Sorry, not 6 months, 6 weeks. And so in this time, I do a ton of dishcloths because dishcloths are easy entries for classes. So I wrote down each of the class. Oh, there's also a detention. I wrote down each of the classes and the kind of prompt that goes with them. So, for example, astronomy needs to be inspired by Mars's South Pole, and that can include colors. So I'm planning on doing a washcloth that has either red, brown, or cream. Muggle studies, it needs to be inspired by balloons. So I'm planning on doing some of my genre squares and having it be inspired based on color. Transfiguration can be anything except something food related. So I haven't picked something, but it'll probably be a dishcloth because it's just easy. Care of magical creatures needs to be something in green, turquoise, teal, or purple. So again, washcloths. Magic of music, that's a new class because it's different classes all the time, just based off of like who volunteers and what ideas that they have. So this needed to be a project that keeps popping up again for you to make it. So like an earworm. So again, a washcloth. Divinations needs to be cables, lace, seed stitch, something intricate like that. So I found a dishcloth that has cables. Flying needs to be a yarn that I've had for about 5 years in my stash. So I'm planning on making some of the genre squares because I've had that yarn in my stash for about 7 years. So that will work. Wizarding Wireless Network is basically a project that you can ask any question, is how they put it, kind of. So I'm planning on making a washcloth with the question of if I could cast a spell on it, would it do the dishes without any help from me? So that is kind of that. Our head of house challenge is, it needs to be something purple, and then you have to tag her. So one of my washcloths will be purple. Oh shoot, is today the last day? What is today? It is the last day to submit my the headmistress challenge, which just needs to be something that makes you happy and it's not stitchy related. So I just need to upload a picture of the dogs and say that they make me happy, but I need to do that before midnight. So as soon as I stop filming, I'll do that. Now, our first Quidditch match, which ends on the 13th, needs to be something that's useful when wet. What do you say? A washcloth? So in the next video update, there will be a lot of washcloths to be shown. So then, to get to the owl and the mission. Now that I had talked about washcloths a lot, I'm choosing to do, so, okay, there are 8 to 12 owls. I don't remember the exact number, but you can only do each OWL subject one time until you've done them all, and then you begin again, and you're at like a higher level or something like that. So I'm going to be attempting an arithmancy owl, and each class has different prompts, and you select the prompt that you want to try to do. So the second option for this is it needs to be multiples 8+ of the same object. It can be a different design, but it needs to be the same object. So last year, Kay Jones from the Bakery Bears released a mini sock bunting that you can use for Advent. So there's 24 socks. There's like 5 different patterns, but you're supposed to make like 24 of them. So, and I'm actually going to make 25 because when I joined this Ravelry group, in the Ravenclaw house that I was put into, I won't say sorted exactly because there was no like personality test. It's just kind of where there's openings you get put. So I got put in Ravenclaw, and I love my housemates. So even though I'm a Slytherin, I'm full Slytherin. I have embraced and I haven't asked for a transfer. You can't ask for transfers after, because some people just like to experience all the houses. So some people have been to literally every house, which is kind of cool. But there was a selling thread, and someone was selling an advent calendar that they had gotten several years ago, and barely started a project, so they just didn't want it anymore. They were selling it for like a really good price. Advent calendars run like almost $200 or sometimes over $200, and this was like $50-ish. And so it was a really good price, so I bought it off of her. And so I have all, and this is the Dyer's Canon hand dyes, which is a really well-known dyer. And this is her Downton Abbey Advent. I wrote down the names of each of them. And so I am planning on making the 25 bunting as my OWL, and I am hoping to be able to successfully do that. Each one is supposed to take about 6 grams. So 6 grams, okay, so 100 grams is about 400 yards, around about. It can be sometimes more, but let's just go with 400 to make it simple. So 1 gram is about 40 yards. So 6, right? Is that right? No. 4 yards? Yeah, 4 yards. So 6 grams is about 24 yards. Multiply that by 25. Alexa, what's 24 times 25?
24 times 25 is 600.
So that's about 600 yards. I feel like it's more than that. I don't know. Anyways, so I'm hoping it will be accepted as difficult enough, because, I mean, you're basically making tiny socks and 25 of them. But I need to get that written up and submitted, which means I need to, and you have to submit a gauge swatch. So I have to be able to block my gauge swatch for that. And what I like about this, I can't show you all of the colors. She even put them in this bag. So like she sent me this bag and everything. Is that these are nice tonal, like tonal yarn. It's really nice. So that is my plan for the mission. No, the owl. The plan for the mission is it needs to be 800 yards on a single project. And there is a pattern called Cat's Advent Scarf that uses Advent yarns. And so it takes 960 to 1,000 yards, and you stripe it with the Advent yarns. And if I have a picture, I'll try to pop that in over here. But anyways, so and that's what I need. I need the needles from the cowl for this scarf, so I can quickly make a little swatch and be able to submit it. And I need to submit it in the next couple of days before the window closes. And so that's why I really need to finish that Christmas tide cowl. But yeah, hopefully that will allow me to use up this yarn. This is a couple of the first days that I unraveled from her project, and there's still like plenty more. So, I mean, she even went so far as to like put them all in the little balls and everything. So it's a really kind, thoughtful, generous, and I was so excited. I have this skein of yarn that I'll be using for the heels for the mini sock bunting. But so that is my main thing that I will be working on. So yeah, I really hope it's accepted, but that is my main plan. Washcloths and that project, and finish the Christmas tide cowl are my main knitting crochet plans. Which brings me to stash. There is quite a bit here, mainly yarn, and just keep in mind this is like 3 months worth of club subscriptions. So move all this stuff. Okay, so I am enrolled in the Yarnable yarn subscription, and you can do a preview for the upcoming month. And I've been doing that, and if I don't like it, or if I have something too similar, because I have quite the stash, if I have something too similar, then I've just been, you can skip the renewal, is how they put it. So I've actually only got one in this whole year so far, and that was last month's, and it's called Mermazing. And I do actually really love this. I do think that that is so pretty. And that's pretty true to color, actually right now. So that was my one Yarnable that I've gotten. And I didn't love the extras that came with it. This is some bath salts, so I will definitely be using that. I've been taking quite a few baths lately to help with my back. But then there's a keychain, which just isn't really my thing. And some mermaid tail clips. So I'm not really into mermaids. Like with cross stitch, I don't stitch mermaids. I'm not doing this year's frosted pumpkin because it's mermaids. I'm not a mermaid person, but I love these colors together. They're so beautiful. So that's why I got that one. I've gotten 2 months Fangirl fibers to share with you. So this one is Oi with the poodles already. So I think that that would be nice, again, in this pattern, which is part of why I thought about doing this. And the Oi with the poodles cross stitch fabric is this. I do think this is really pretty. However, I did cancel my cross stitch fabric subscription because I didn't love the first 2 months of that. And then I'm not really doing cross stitch on a lot of colored fabric lately, so I didn't need it. I'm not a huge fan of this month's yarn. It is Yellow Daisies, and to me it just kind of looks like bare yarn that you just kind of flicked some things on. And this yellow is a little too highlighter yellow for me. Anyways, not a huge fan. Don't hate it. I just don't love it. But that's fine. Not every single yarn is always going to be your cup of tea. The final lot of yarns that I have to share with you is from the Harry Potter Club I do. I think this is one of the extras from it. Isn't that such a pretty bookmark? I like that. That's pretty. So I have 3 monthlies and then 1 seasonal. which reminds me I need to order the summer seasonal one before it goes out of the shop. So, I think that's book 4, so I think this is book 3. This is Honeydukes. So bright and pretty, and I think I'm going to keep this mini with it because I think that that would make a lovely contrasting heel toe cuffs. Then last month's is Mer People of the Lake. So I had 2 mermaid things from that month. Different colors and ideas, but both beautiful. So this is what that looks like. And I really like it too. I don't know if I will. I guess I'll probably just put it in together for now. I feel like this year her yarns are even more beautiful than previous years. And then this month's, I love it. I love it. It's Nagini. I just love blues and grays together. I really do. So that is that month's. And then Spring at the Castle is this. Not my absolute favorite. I do think, however, she nailed the contrast yarn, as that will look really nice together. And it does give you a springy vibe. So those are my stash enhancements. I've probably picked up a couple cross-stitch digital patterns, but maybe not. I did get some cotton yarn, but I just use those for dishcloths. Oh, actually, I got these 2 from Hobby Lobby. Hang on, I forgot. So these are 100% superwash merino fingering weight, and I got them from Hobby Lobby. And the Kay Jones from the Bakery Bears released this pattern called the Sweetheart Cowl. I'll try to put a picture of what that looked like, but I thought it would be really nice using this as the main and this as the contrast. And so I really want to do it. I've just never done color work before, so I'm working up the courage. But I mean, these were $15, so and I think they were 30% off. So I figured better to start on like a cheaper yarn than I think these 2 look nice together. There's a little bit of gray in here, so I think you can see it more over here. So I think they complement each other nicely. I don't know when I'll be starting that cowl. Maybe next term. It's hard when you divide up all your projects based on like the homework points that you get in a fictional play game. But anyways, so long video. Okay, now let's talk briefly about Advents and my current present thoughts about what I plan on doing for Advents. I have been called the Advent Queen. I do tend to do a lot of Advents. It is now May, which means yarn Advents are on sale. And when I say sale, I don't mean they're at a discounted price. They are more expensive this year than last year. And last year was more expensive than the previous year, and they just keep getting more expensive. But anyways, it is what it is. And my point being that it is May and I'm still feeling a bit burned out. So, which is a sign I clearly overdid it last year. And I have so many beautiful Advent projects that are just not getting a lot of progress on. So yeah. So I have been looking online, and I believe let's see. From the Advents I did last year, the Fangirls Fiber one, I don't remember what theme she said, but it wasn't one that interested me. I need to check. Actually, maybe she hasn't released her themes yet. I need to check her again. The one who did the Fade, she is doing a mermaid theme, which again doesn't interest me. And I think she's splitting the Advent between her and another dyer. So I'm probably not going to go with her Advent. The lady who does the minis of the year, I think she's definitely burned out on minis because she's not doing that club anymore, I don't believe. And she also announced that she won't be doing an Advent calendar this year. So I won't be clearly doing that. Bluebird Yarns, who did the Jane Austen Advent I did last year, she hasn't posted an Advent yet. And it's getting late in the Advent posting season. So I'm thinking maybe she won't be doing an Advent this year. And then her daughter, Katie, who I get a lot of yarn from, Storyweaver Yarns, she hasn't even done a shop update since January. And I know she started a new job as a teacher this past year. And I'm thinking that that is taking all of her time, which is completely understandable. And so she might not be doing an Advent. I haven't reached out and asked her yet, but she hasn't done an announcement. The past Advent of hers I did was the Tudor Advent. So those are the Advents I did last year. I did find a Lord of the Rings themed yarn Advent that I am considering getting. It actually ships from Germany. It is by a dyer I've never even heard of before, but I looked at some of the comments in the review for pictures to see what they dyed up as, and she did a few like pictures of past skeins that she's done, and it looks like it could possibly be more of a tonal, which is kind of what I'm wanting. I'm kind of feeling overwhelmed with the highly modeled, well, not that one, more highly modeled yarns. There's some sock patterns I want to do, which has nothing to do with minis. But there's some sock patterns I want to do that need a more just tonal yarn. And I don't actually really have many tonal yarns. So, I'm feeling at about capacity in terms of the more variegated yarns, which is why I'm not renewing Yarnable very often, and why I have skipped like 3 months of the Jane Austen subscription that I was doing. I'm feeling just about at capacity, and for my collecting for various things, I always think that I'll never get tired of it, and then I do. Like these German yarns, I was in that club for years, and then I like reached at about capacity mentally, and I just stopped renewing for so long. And it's been years actually since I've gotten a new one from them. But so I am really thinking about that Lord of the Rings one because it's Lord of the Rings. I have a few others that are in my cart, but I put things in my cart all the time and then never get them. That's just how I kind of think about things and am able to find them again. But what I'm thinking about doing is putting all my Advents on little scraps of paper and putting them randomly into my Advent calendar boxes, and then each day pulling it out and doing one color in it. I also have an Advent that I got like 3 years ago maybe, that I didn't like the project I assigned to it, And so I've never done anything with that. So basically opening it would kind of be like a new advent. So I'm kind of just thinking of repurposing and revisiting the already existing advents that I have for yarn advents. I don't think I'm going to do the quilt advent again. I did like the projects, but I just didn't love it. So that's kind of where my thoughts are in terms of how to, oh, I did order already the stitch marker advent. I ordered it like the day she put it up. So, I do love that advent. And this year she had a higher level, I guess you could say, that includes a project bag and a skein of yarn with a different like dyer, like a collaboration. So I was excited about that. And then I did order one advent stripe yarn where it's a stripe a day. I'm also thinking I might, and this is from a different dyer. I'm thinking about ordering a different one and then making my husband and I socks doing the different advent one stripe a day. But so yeah, so I don't want to be opening so many advents again. It's just, it was very overwhelming and I got really burned out. And then like I never started my fade advent because it was just so much, and I only did a couple days on the Jane Austen one, and I only did 2 days, if even, on the Gilmore Girls one. And so I just want to be able to put more time into the advents I have. And like I said, I haven't really found themes that were calling to me. I looked and they're just, people are doing just themes that don't really particularly interest me this year, which is fine. But so next week I will hopefully upload a video about how you can search and find advent related things, and maybe hopefully find something that appeals to you. I will still be doing Vlogmas and still be trying to do all the things, and that's just how I am. And so I am excited, but also excited to maybe scale it back a little bit. So that's just where I'm at right now. It is May. Maybe by August I will have a different mindset. Who knows? But yeah, that's that update. I'm going to sign off now because it is 8:30. And I haven't eaten. We haven't eaten yet. So yeah. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you are having a fantastic day. Bye.
Oh, she went down and somebody went up. He just went up.
Topanga, come on.
The little guy in the green, he went up.
Oh, look at you. Look at you. Oh, yes, you are quite quick at them now. Topanga has no fear. The RV is going, and she is going up and down this aisle. And we're just going down the road. Oh, I'm climbing in. She's so funny. Look at these little boys playing with each other. Hello, Sean. And Topanga just chilling, looking out. Grace Alliance. What you doing, Gracie?
Great. How much is
Georgie, Lily.